Well, hello there and welcome to our second edition of What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes this weekend. A reminder, of course, Ladbrokes as well, they do have a €5,000 late to lose in shops on all terrestrial TV racing as well. So get your bets on there. Right, we're going to start off on Sunday. I'm joined once again by Gavin Lynch, Patrick Mullins and David Jennings. Of course, this is recorded before we've seen what's happened on Saturday, but really looking forward to this Sunday's action. We start off with Grade 1 company as well, the Tattersalls Ireland Spring Juvenile Hurdle. Espoir Delenn obviously looking to continue his unbeaten run. Patrick, you guys run Mr. Adjudicator here, probably up against Gavin Cromwell's horse.
Possibly. You know, he was very professional at Christmas. He settled great, which, you know, for sometimes those ex-flat horses can just run a bit keen, but he settled fantastic. And he jumped very sharp. So he ran away from him. I mean, he won as he liked. So he has to step up to get the Gavin's horse. But I just thought Gavin's horse at Christmas wasn't as good as I thought he might be. And I wonder, is his busy early season catching up on him now? Possibly. I mean, possibly not. Maybe at Christmas he just wasn't at his best. But I just thought he looked beatable at Christmas. And our fella, we like him a lot. I mean, he was only rated in kind of the 80s on the flat. But I think he's going to be much better over jumps because, as you saw at Christmas, I mean, he loves jumping.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this? I mean, I know you're a big Espoir Delenn fan, big Gavin Cromwell fan. Can you see he's been turned over perhaps with...
Yeah, no, I think he's a rock-solid favourite. I think he will confirm the form with Farcla. And I think, because I thought he beat him fair and square the last time. I know Farcla will probably improve, but I think there should be a stronger gallop here. And I think... Espoir Delenn, if you were describing him in one word, it'd be professional. I think he's really professional. I think I thought he won snug enough now at Christmas, I have to say. I think he's certainly proven to be our top juvenile so far. And you're getting even money about him beating the same horse again. Mr. Adjudicator obviously is, I suppose, the unknown quantity. The last hurdle was omitted that day, but he jumped quite well, didn't he, that day, Mr. Adjudicator? I just wonder, does he have the class of Espoir Delenn? And yeah, I think Espoir Delenn, like, I'm not one usually that would fancy an even money favourite in a Grade 1, but I think he's rock solid.
Yeah, the day in Fairyhouse was very, very taking that day. And what they looked a little worried because it was a slowly run race, wasn't it?
He needs a stronger gallop to be more effective. He jumps better when they go quicker. And I thought when Barry made his mind up from at Fairyhouse in early December, I thought his jumping was really good when he produced him, fired him at the hurdles. So yeah, Espoir Delenn, I'd be pretty confident he'll win.
Gavin, your thoughts?
I think that Espoir Delenn will probably finish ahead of Farcla because it's £3 better off compared to Christmas, so that's a lot. And it beat it.
There you go. That's the reason why, Patrick.
See, if you had notes, like you'd have known that. Yeah.
But £3 and he beat it snug enough, so it's hard to see him reversing. Although you'd imagine Farcla will improve a lot, for that was his first run, you know. I'm very interested to see now that Stormy Ireland doesn't run, the tactics in the race, the pace in the race. I don't know what's going to make it. At Christmas, Grey Waters just about made it against Espoir Delenn and Farcla. Mr. Adjudicator liked he sat with the gallop when he won his maiden. Have you any idea, Patrick?
I mean, when Mr. Adjudicator won, they went no gallop with the first furlong, so he kind of was left there. I'm not sure. We wouldn't discuss tactics yet, but I mean, it was more a case that he was left in front than we jumped out to make the running.
Yeah, I just hope they go a good gallop, whoever's going to make it. So it's interesting. With Stormy Ireland gone now, it's a different tactical race.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to the 150 then. This is a cracker. The Grade 1 Deloitte Novices Hurdle, arguably made even better now because Sam Kerr runs it. Your stable's incredibly well represented, and you're familiar with a couple of these as well because you've ridden them in bumpers too, likes of Debussy. How are the Willie Mullins 4 anyway?
Just talk us through the Christmas race, Patrick. It was enjoyable, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the Christmas race was it was ran at such a strong gallop. I mean, it was a proper race.
Gallop, yeah.
And Gali Khan seemed to kind of, he did too much all the way and he was jumping. And what was very interesting was I was tracking Magali Khan all the way and he was jumping right. And coming to the second last hurdle, I'm thinking to myself, Magali Khan is going to jump right. And to be honest, I was thinking Magali Khan is beat. I think he's done too much down the back straight. I think he's going to jump right. I'm going to jump into that gap and get the rail. And of course, he's gone left, which was hugely...
If viewers are confused at this stage, that's Mengley Khan that he's talking about.
Thanks.
Oh, brutal. Way to make a guest feel welcome.
Sorry,
so, but it was a true run race. I mean, it was very strange the way Real Steel and Whiskey Sour ran. They seemed to be... You know, Whiskey Sour's went over 1.5 miles in the flat in Galway, so he's not slow. So it was very strange to see him so far back. But he'd only won a maiden hurdle in Tramore and he hadn't ran since Galway till Christmas. So perhaps just the... You know, perhaps just the he just got a fright or something. But I think their performances can be marked up, Real Steel and Whiskey Sour, because they seem to give the rest of the field 7 or 8 lengths of a head start by the time they got down the back straight. However, I thought Sharjah was going to put in a performance every bit as good as Gettysburg's. I thought if he'd gone and jumped the last, I'd have gone away and won 7 or 8 lengths on the bridle. You know, I thought I had loads of horse left. And
do you think it was the shadow on the low sun that day? Or
I mean, I think...
Did you see the side on video? There was a side on video.
Yeah, possibly it was. I mean, definitely Real Steel jumped the shadow. My fella just stepped at it. He met it spot on, and he's just left one leg on the ground. And but sometimes, I mean, Macatorix definitely jumped the shadow. Nicholas Canyon definitely jumped the shadow. Real Steel definitely jumped the shadow. And you know, did it just put him off a bit? I don't know.
Well, the fact that Real Steel was already in air by the time he'd approached for his stride probably put him off too, did it?
Possibly, because he jumped fantastic all the way. So I mean, look, if I had it again, I'd sit. But I think he just,
so much horse,
for whatever reason, he you know, he had so much horse, he should have came. And anyway, he got up. So Real Steel got up, and we won the race. So it wasn't a complete disaster.
Tell me this: will Sharjah beat Sam Crow?
The way I look at it is Sam Crow has to step up to us, not the other way around. I mean, Sam Crow is a very imposing beast. What he looks impregnable, but what has he really achieved? You know, he's beaten one of our horses, Good Time Tara. She ran him to a neck in Navan. So for me, Sharjah should be favourite, and I don't think there's a horse around that should be odds on against Sharjah.
Yeah, well, well, now there you go. What are your thoughts?
Really?
And you were like Mr. Sam Crow, a big fan.
No,
quite a few bits and pieces about him.
Yeah, well, Johnny Ward is the ultimate founding member of the Sam Crow fan club, but I think that those comments there, if you don't listen to them, like, this man knows the horse inside out, and there's no horse in the world that should be odds on against Sharjah. That's the quote of the show. Like, that's incredible. I just think Sam Crow is a gorgeous horse that has done everything right, and maybe he hasn't done it, but you have to try and guess. I often find with these things, you have to try and guess how good something is, because visually you see something, and you can only do so much form research and say, right, he beat Good Time Tara that day by a neck. They went no pace, and in fairness, I think, was it Katie rode Good Time Tara? She gave it a cracking right that day just to come up one run. And I just think sometimes you have to try and believe your eyes, and what I saw last time at Navan was possibly one of the best novices I've seen in a long time. I know his future probably lies over fences, and maybe this is not the right race for him. If I was them, I certainly would have went for the longer race, the Nathaniel Lacey race, because I think he would have got into a nicer rhythm, and I think he would have won that on the bridle. He certainly won't be winning this on the bridle, so we will find out how good Sam Crow is. But I suppose flip Patrick's thing. I'd be very surprised if Sam Crow was beaten.
Will you be surprised if Sam Crow gets beaten?
I think most people would be surprised. He's been one of the stars of the winter so far. I think by going with what Patrick is saying, Sharjah could end up maybe the same price without Sam Crow. Sam Crow is to win the race. That might be an angle for people at 4 to 6 or 4 to 5 maybe without. Sharjah is actually a very good horse in the flat in France. Was rated maybe 100. Loved good ground. So it's for me, it's maybe the best race of the weekend, watching Sharjah against Sam Crow.
I ask you a quick question. Would you be shocked if Real Steel finished in front of Sharjah?
I think it's going to be hard for him. But the only thing I said about Whiskey Sour and Real Steel was that their performance at Christmas, I think, has to be marked up from how they raced early on for whatever reason. And Sam
were they outpaced? Were they? No.
Well, Whiskey Sour couldn't have been outpaced. He's in a mile and a half winner in Galway, you know. So
strange.
It's very strange. But a few of our horses just seem to run bizarrely at Christmas. So, you know, maybe it's something to do with that. But Sam Crow could be as good as everyone says. What I'm saying is, so far, Sharjah's achieved more than Sam Crow has. He did it going through it in a grade 1.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Crow beat Jets 12 lengths. I think Nest Destination beat Jets further the next time, maybe. So, you know, maybe he will. But I'm just going to play devil's advocate.
I think
we like it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, go for it. Well, we'll move on to the flow gas.
Just quickly, in that Novice Hurdle Christmas, I think they got to the third last, something like 7 or 8 seconds, half a furlong ahead of the handicap hurdle that day. So that's the gallop they went, you know.
Well, we went, it was a proper gallop, it was a proper race.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the Flowgas Novice Chase, because that genuinely is won the race of the weekend. Sutton Place tops the market here around about 3 to 1. What do you make of this day?
I suppose we spoke about a Gordon Elliott horse there a moment ago in Sam Crow. At the moment, I think this is probably the best horse he has, Sutton Place. I think he could be exceptional, and this is his time of year. This is his ground. I don't know if he's going to win an RSA. Though he might have one shot at a Gold Cup someday. He he's awkward and he's ignorant and he's a lot of things you don't want in a horse, but he's got a huge engine.
Similar to you, isn't
he? Yeah, he's the equine equivalent of David Jennings. So but I just think the performance to beat Super Sunday, given that weight over hurdles last year at Naas, was an exceptional performance. Yeah. And I think he won more comfortably, I thought, beat Kenboy more comfortably than the distance suggests at Fairyhouse. This is his ground. Everything apparently has gone well since. It's a hell of a good race, but I think he's a hell of a good horse.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Patrick? You've got Alboon Photo invitation only. This maybe a little bit surprised that Paul didn't go for Alboon Photo. You?
I mean, it's a fabulous race. I mean, it wouldn't be out of place at Cheltenham, which is what they're aiming for at this festival, which is great. I mean, look, Alboon Photo probably hasn't achieved as much in cold hard form as Invitation Only has. He's a lot of potential,
yeah,
and he's coming off the back of a fall, so that's a negative, you know. So I think Paul has probably gone for the logical option. You know, a horse who's won his last two. I know he fell first time out, but he's not coming off the back of a fall.
Yeah.
So Invitation Only, as a bump horse, I thought he was a really, really good horse. I thought he could, you know, beat one of our top novice hurdlers. He was a little disappointing, but he didn't get a clear run of the season. You know, he ended up missing Cheltenham. And when he was actually third in Navan, and we were disappointed with him, he was only a length and a half off Mona Lee. So I'd like to think that now that we have him right again, he should be able to finish ahead of Mona Lee, who again is coming off the back of a fall.
Yeah.
And that has to be, in a novice chase, that's going to be running at a good gallop, that has to be a
Is that a
big
massive negative for you, horse that have fallen off the
It
was some fall, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was
oh my God.
some fall. It's just makes life harder. I mean, it's not impossible to do, but it makes life harder. So I can see why Paul chose Invitation Only. But Alboon Photo is a horse he's made for chasing. He's made for a trip, and hopefully he'll get a clear round and be going to Cheltenham. But I wouldn't be hugely surprised if he won either. I ride Rat Vinden. It's possible that he could go for the 4 mile chase. He got brought down by Mona Lee the last time. So again, you know, clear round is going to be object number one for him.
He has a lot of jumping experience, though, in fairness too.
He does, and you know, touch wood, he's usually a fabulous jumper. And then Koshari as well, with second Invitation Only the last time, he needs to sharpen up his jumping. He just, you know, he doesn't make ground at his fences, and he needs to be a bit sharper. So hopefully, this experience, you know, will put him right for Cheltenham.
Good stuff, Gavin. Do you have a bet in this race? I mean, this is, as regards depth, or a lot of these races have short price favourites. 3-1 the field here. It's
just before the show, I had a small bet, and Sutton placed at 3-1 again. Ladbrokes are a standout price. I'd be interested to see what Patrick says with Invitation Only, or Alboon Photo for the RSA or the JLT. Would you have any idea of where they might end up? It's hard to know.
We'll know more after this weekend, you know.
And you reckon Rat Vinden for the 4 miler?
He's a possible. He's entered in it, and you know, he has a lot of experience. And again, you know, if he comes out and wins on Sunday, he probably won't go over the 4 mile.
No, probably not, no.
But, you know, we'll know more after. This weekend is going to shape our plans with Cheltenham hugely.
You've usually got your 4 mile ride lined up long before now, have you? Can you divulge?
And then usually Ruby takes them on me. Or Black Hercules and Don Polly didn't quite make it to the 4 miler. But no, I mean, Ravinden would be a great ride in it. But again, after this weekend, we'll have a far clearer idea.
A lot clearer. Right, on to the Unibet Gold Cup. This is another cracker. But again, a few question marks over those at the top of the market. You know, Arduke is favourite, like coming off the back of that run, and he's obviously had injury problems. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny in that both the Champion Hurdle and the Irish Gold Cup, there's so many horses on retrieval missions, there's so many reputations to be restored. It's almost horses, you know, trying to put their last run behind them, like Arduke, Faheen, you know, Jeffrey Desai. So it is really interesting. Arduke is a funny horse. I think on his day he's exceptional, like we've seen in the Irish Grand National last year, but I don't know if you can trust him. And Kilolta Vic, Patrick will tell us a lot more about Kilolta Vic. I don't know. I think Kilolta Vic is a sure price, given where he's come from, given how long he's been off and what he's achieved over fences. I think he's a sure price. As regards the value in the race, I think the two that I'd be most interested in, now I'm not saying they're certainties by any manner of means, but I think Annabelle Fly is a top class horse, especially on this ground, who did it over course and distance. I thought he was very good in the Paddy Power. His jumping is exceptional, and Tony Martin thinks he'll be even better now than he was at Christmas. So I think Annabelle Fly has got a great chance, and I think given the way the ground is going to be, I could see Mala Beach running a really good race. He's not top class at all, and you will need to be to win a race like this, but I could see him running better than a 16-1 shot and maybe finishing second and running well. So the two, I think that potentially are overpriced, are Annabelle Fly and Mala Beach.
Patrick, how are Kilolta Vic and Jack Adam?
Both are well. You know, I agree with what David says. If you're, you know, he's only ran twice over fences and didn't quite fall once, but almost did. So it is a big ask. It's a huge ask, and you know, obviously the horse has tons of ability. He beat Thistlecrack in a 3-mile Grade 1 novice hurdle at Punchestown with Shane Hill in third, which is very strong form. And you know, we're throwing him in the deep end. Just circumstances, the way it's come, that's what he's going to have to do. I mean, you're looking at the likes of Coney and Thistlecrack, who won big races. Essentially, Killuta Vic is a novice. He's only 2 runs. You know, he's not officially a novice, but essentially he is. But Conor McBratney would have had him for point of points, and he had him before he sent him back to us this year, and he's done a lot of schooling of fences, and he seems very good. Doesn't jump hurdles as well. You know, in Punchestown he jumped horrifically.
Oh, he was awful jumping that.
Yeah,
God, terrible.
and still managed to win. So I think that performance has been marked up significantly. It is a big ask, but he's the horse with the potential to be. You know, it's a race in which most of them, all of them have a chance. There's no no-hoper. But he's the horse of potential, and probably our Duke that could be the Gold Cup horse, as opposed to the rest of them. You know, it's an interesting mix when you have the Triton winner and the Paddy Power winner, and the Irish National winner. A lot of good handicap form there. I ride Jack at him. Really looking forward to riding him. And you know, I think you can draw a line through his run at Christmas. Myself and Sizing John ran in the John Durkin. It's too close to Christmas. Yeah. I think it should move back. It should probably join with the Morgiana. I think I'd love to see that as a one-day festival. People said it might be too close to James Nicholson, to the John Nicholson, but they're 2 different races. I think that might be the next change in the calendar, because for those staying chasers, you can't have 2 runs in a month. It's not fair. So I draw a line through his run, and you know, his form is, he probably has the best form in the race without doubt, and he's working well at home, and I'm really looking forward to getting my leg over him.
Good stuff. Brendan, about 7-1. Gavin, anything? Who are you going to back in this race?
I think it's a very, very open race. Annabelle Flies, say, won a handicap. Mala Beach won a handicap. Our Duke won a handicap, which is the Irish National. It was strange in the J and Wine chase. He was gone after 2 fences. He ran no race whatsoever. Manila Rock.
Back, is that what he was back?
He was backed off the boards that day as well. I mean, in fairness, like, they were obviously very confident.
Well, you know, if a horse has a sore back, especially over fences, you can understand then why he was gone so early. You know, he obviously just was sore.
Because normally he's a brilliant jumper, and that day he couldn't even jump.
Is he though? Is he a brilliant jumper? He jumped well in the Irish National.
He did.
There was question marks over his jumping in his novice campaign. That would be the one area of our Duke I'd be really worried about, his jumping.
Come on, if a novice can win an Irish National,
he's won an Irish National off 153, 14 lengths. Like.
Oh, absolutely, and he jumped brilliantly. But I just
get some more notes, will you?
I think that Outlander, Valserlido, and Manila Rocco from Christmas, they're beatable, and I'm going to go for Killuta Vic. I think that
5-1.
He beat Thistlecrack, as we said. He was a brilliant hurdler. He won his beginner's chase over 2 miles. In the commentary I watched this morning when Desi said he'll never recover from that. Remember when he slipped on landing and got back up to win? That was 2-3. In Punchestown, I've never seen a horse jump his hurdles so bad and win. It was amazing. So he's actually a good jumper of a fence. He stays. He has the best engine. I just think Killuta Vic at 5-1 is okay. Good
stuff. Anything else on the Sunday card for you, Dave?
Yeah, what's the other race again?
You got a 3-mile handicap hurdle where Patrick can tell us about that.
Tell us about Total Recall, obviously. Looks absolutely chucked in. I could see Phil's Magic running well at a big price for Tony Martin and Donald Myler, who obviously teamed up with Annabelle Fly. I could see that running well. Patrick will win the bumper on Coolreevy. And what's the other race that we're missing there?
The Mayor's Handicap hurdle, the first with the Paddy Mullins Mayor's Handicap.
Is he get paid for this?
Sometimes.
Actually, no. My strongest fancy the whole weekend runs in the Paddy Mullins Mayor's hurdle. And
the race you just couldn't remember.
I strongly fancy Lady Buttons from the Phil Kirby stable. She was 4th to Let's Dance at Christmas, and that was over 2.5 miles. She travelled every bit as well as Let's Dance to the home turn. I didn't think she got home. She's been dropped £2, which is quite generous from Sandy Shaw. I think that Lady Buttons has definitely the best form in the race. She was only beaten 2 lengths by Le Bagawa. Le Bagawa has since come out and emerged as Stayers hurdle candidate. 2 mile 2, soft ground, Leopardstown. I think she ticks a lot of boxes. She's a double-figure price, and of all the horses running this weekend at Leopardstown, she's the one that I think is certainly the best value.
Okay. Patrick, your thoughts on the Mayor's bumper first? Coolreevy's a good chance.
Yeah, really like Coolreevy. She's got a bit of attitude. I think she got loose in the parade ring before her point to point, and took 2 or 3 goes to get up in her in Fairy House as well. But once she's on the track, she's far more straightforward. it was a very slow run race in Fairyhouse, so she didn't win 10 lengths. You know,
Yeah.
when they go a slow run race, it's very hard to win like that. I really like her, and I'd be expecting a big run from her. And we have 3 horses in the Paddy Mullins Mayor's Handicap Hurdle, which is, you know, a nice tip of the hat to the boss. And Contingency, I think, is very leniently treated. She's in a 1-2-1 or 1-2-2. You know, she only won now Mayor's races in the summer, which is probably why she has such a small mark. So it's hard now for a novice going into a handicap, but she seems to jump well. And I would be very surprised if she's not a 130 plus mare. But like I said, a novice going into a handicap, sometimes you can lose 7 or 8 pounds in just that kind of race. Then in the
Total Recall
in the 3 mile hurdle, yeah. So we screwed him over hurdles this morning, and he jumped fine. So touch wood, there shouldn't be any worries on that score. I mean, look, he looks chucked in. It doesn't often work out like that. We've seen it before, but his work at home has been good. He should be a class apart, and you know, touch wood, he probably our best chance of the weekend, really. You know, I don't think we have anything else that should be 30 pounds well in.
Yeah.
I would also say, if I was looking for a big price, we avoid a Rev in that race. He ran quite well at Christmas after 2 years off. He was going to be maybe first or second in the Fred Winter when he fell at the last at Ruby.
Campidor.
Yes,
2 of them fell.
Yeah, and he ran very well to maybe the second last at Christmas, and he probably just got a bit tired. Niall Kelly, who's our stable conditional, claims 5, so he's going to carry 5 pounds less. He's going to be fitter, and I think he at 25 to 1, I think he's overpriced.
Fair enough. Anything else on the Saturday card, or on the Sunday card rather, for you, Gavin?
Yeah, it could be a red letter day for Patrick and Willie. They've nearly a fancy horse in every race, but Contingency will be very hard beat off 121. Just one thing to point out, the mare's handicap is Alley Tricks. It finished second last week to Lorena. It's been left off a mark of 116. It's actually been raised £9 for that, but runs off 116 on Sunday, so it's £9 willing. So that must have a chance. Obviously, Total Recall looks a certainty. And I think there's a horse in a handicap called Hell's Kitchen. Powers are 3-1, but Ladbrokes are 5-1 at the moment. It was very impressive. Jumped brilliant in Kempton. The horse that it beat, Mr. Whittaker, won last week in Cheltenham, so that is a great chance, 5-1. I'd say it'll go off shorter. And in the bumper, I just thought maybe Motown Girl without the favourite could be a bet. Mags Mullins's.
Good stuff. Well, that's our Sunday show. Quick wrap. One horse for Sunday each. Gavin, we'll start with you quickly.
Hell's Kitchen, a 5-1.
Hell's Kitchen. Patrick.
Total Recall is the one. Yeah.
Good stuff. And Dave.
Lady Buttons.
And Lady Buttons. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's another edition of What's Word, a bumper edition for our second day of the Dublin Racing Festival.